down with OTC? Are you down with OTC? OTC. Are you down with OTC? Are you down with OTC? OTC. Are you down with OTC? Down with OTC. Down with OTC.
Boom!
Whoa.
Who's down with OTC?
What was that?
Who's down with OTC?
What was that delay? Holy cow. That was a massive delay.
There's a little bit of a delay.
Whoa.
You're delayed. Oh, you know why? Hang on a second. Turn my Wi-Fi
I'm
off.
delayed. It's because I'm coming in from the future. Future tense, past tense. Hey, welcome to On the Chain, exclusively on the chain. Tonight is a live stream all about day number 1 of Ripple Swell 2020. So we're fired up all about this. I'm not sure what just happened to Chip. I'm hoping Chip is going to be bouncing right back in here again. Looks like he's completely frozen in time. So when he comes back at some point, so assume you guys are able to hear me and we're all tuned in, and we are waiting for Chip to come back. But anyhow, we are going to be discussing all things related to day number 1 and what kind of an impact is day number 1 Swell 2020 going to have on the grander scheme of things. What kind of great developments have we witnessed coming out of Ripple? We've talked a little bit about that. Is that going to have some sort of a major impact on XRP? Yes, no, maybe so. But anyhow, that's what we want to talk about. That's what we want to get into. And I think we're going to get into it starting right now.
Welcome to On the Chain with Jeff and Chip.
All right, so we are back. I'm not sure what happened to Chip. Technical difficulties on our live stream. Hopefully it's not some sort of a major web outage. Everybody trying to log in all at the same time and he gets bumped off. So lots of things to go over. Want to turn to those that are in here with us tonight because we got all sorts of great people with us as usual. First in the stream tonight, Eric Garcia. I see Connie here with us tonight. Patrick Young, what's up? Good to see you. Good to have you on here on the chain. We got legendary XRP hodler for life. All sorts bouncing in here. Let's see, who else do we have that's bouncing in commenting? We've got Goyvinson. Who let the bulls out? Not sure. I'm still trying to figure that out. We've got the Home Church Panama that's commenting on Chip being frozen in time. This is awesome. You guys are fantastic. Glad that you jumped in here. What's up, everybody? If you guys could do us a favor, tweet this out. Let's get it going, and we're going to jump right in now. We're going to start talking. Let's go over some things. I keep tuning in just to make sure, see if we get frozen out here. Hopefully, like I said, Chip will be bouncing back in. There he is. There he is.
You know what it is, Jeff?
Holy cow. Wasn't sure where you were.
No, you know what happened?
But we kept it going.
Comcast.
Comcast. You got to love them.
Concast, as we like to say.
So anyhow, man, I dragged it on. I did the intro. We did everything. And I was about to wrap up for the night. And then you came back in.
I think we're done.
That's it. Done. We talked about everything there was to talk about.
Good. WB's here. Good to see that.
Chinese bamboo. Yep. So, so it's interesting, Chip. Here's the first starting point. I think this is on everybody's mind. Ripple Swell 2020. Lots of announcements. Things having an impact on Ripple. XRP negative 2.79%. I think we should address this one first. First and foremost, not going to have a direct impact on XRP, and we move on with our life and we keep talking about longer term and what's going on over at Swell. How about that?
Well, it sounds like a pretty good plan to me. I mean, you're not gonna get a fight from me, Jeff. I mean, I think it sounds pretty good. I'm gonna adjust my chair here. But so I think, look, day one, here's the thing about it. If you ever go to one of these conferences, there's always 3 days. Sometimes it's like a 3-day conference. Sometimes it's a 2-day conference, but they always hold back something for the second day, right? You don't want to just that's it, and then no one shows up for the second day. So you kind of hey, let's get some of the stuff out of the way. So I think we got some partnerships, which I think we'll get into a little bit. We got some partnerships on the Impact Award that was given. We learned a little bit more. Looks like we actually learned a lot more about the line of credit. And there was an ODL. There was an ODL demonstration that was done on a phone, which is pretty cool. Now, we are not doing this from being there because Jeff and I were not invited. Not only that, but I was denied. So we are just
denied.
You were denied.
Denied. It was a nice email with a big denied stamp.
Well, you know what happened is I applied about a month ago or like 5 weeks ago, and they said, "We'll get in touch in 5 days." And I'm like, man, I looked through my emails, nothing happened. Then I went back and said, hey, and I said, let me do it again. And then I had like an answer in 20 minutes. So buzzer. The big old buzzer, yeah. So XRP hodler for life looks like he was denied as well, or she, I don't know which, but yeah. See, denied. GDLT Swell was amazing. Bro, look at you, man.
There and home.
It was there. I think one of the funniest things, I did a video on this, but XRP Productions, they did that. They did that funny thing. There's the parody account, the parody thing on Coil, and they said that they announced they were going to be doing it from Swift's lobby. So I thought that was a pretty fun thing. What's going on, Kelly Slade? Hey, good to see you. Connie, good to see you. Always, I think Connie was first, right? No, Eric Garcia was first, but
they don't want you guys to steal the limelight. I like that. Yeah, if we were there, they would have been all over. We'd have been up on the stage.
Patrick Young comes in, no moon right away. Man, give it a chance, man. Right off the bat, man, we got to give it a little bit of a chance. We can't go right into that. It's crazy. Yeah, I was frozen because I had an issue. All of a sudden, right when you go live, all of a sudden Comcast goes, hey, we're not going to We're not going to cooperate. I was like, what? I had to restart my router. It was a really weird thing. So I
Nice.
do think there were some things that were probably worth talking about. I wanted to, this line of credit is an interesting thing. It's a pretty new development, and I kind of want to go through just a couple things here, little Q&A action here. So they were saying, what is the maximum credit that someone could actually take out with the line of credit? They said the maximum credit will be flexible. It's based on underwriting process along with matching financial institution payment needs. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not so specific. And then the other question was, is there any sufficient liquidity for the solution to be used at scale? And they said, well, we work closely with many markets around the world to ensure liquidity and other infrastructure is in place to meet financial institution payments on RippleNet. So this is the one that I thought was kind of juicy. It said, what's the expected repayment period and what do you expect the average credit amount to be? And I'm thinking like, I don't know, Jeff, I'm like maybe $100, $1,000, I don't know. And they said, can the institutions repay you with XRP or only in the USD/domestic currency? And they said, well, we expect flexibility in the repayment period will be needed. Different financial institutions will have different needs.
Yep.
Does it sound like it was all done by a lawyer presented here? And however,
little
our
bit.
standard offering without a line of credits based on 7 days, we expect to work with financial institutions on a period of 30 days, 60 days, etc. But continue to listen to our customers. All repayment terms are currently local currency. They're not XRP, so that's what they're going to base this on. But they're basically listening to the RippleNet members. And they said the typical market requirement is going to be anywhere from 90 days to 360 days, up to 10 million USD. So, and the key thing is, first thing when Jeff and I were talking about this, we thought to ourselves, well, what's the interest rate going to be on this puppy, right? I'm thinking 1.5%, 2% maybe. Oh no. Right now they're targeting anywhere between 4 to 12% on an annualized, what does that APR stand for? Annualized, I don't know, APR, but it's based on an annual basis. There will be an interest fee for payment terms longer than 7 days. The interest rate will be extremely competitive. 12% is not competitive unless you have like one of those scammy credit cards out there. Please reach out to the team to discuss. Do you have any projections how this letter of credit product offer affects the price? Good question. If you expect any extra volatility over various regional markets, will the credit be issued from the escrow amount or at the start of each month? And they basically said, if as we manage the XRP appropriate to the needs of the ODL and line of credit customer needs, further details as a topic, we can potentially pick up in a separate discussion. Know what I'm saying, Jeff? Not here. You know what I mean? Like wink, wink, nod, nod.
I'm still trying to get over the 6 to 12%.
Well, 4 like really. It's 4 to 12, but
4 to 12 seems like a really high percentage rate. Yeah, like still trying to get over that part.
Annualized percentage rate, that's what APR stands for. So that's on an annual basis, but still you're looking at if you do $10 million over the course of a year, if you get it at 4%, what are you paying? 40 grand there?
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot of cake. That's a lot of cake. And then if you're or up to 120K, that's a lot of money to be borrowing. But I think part of the advantage here is the fact that if you're going to go to a standard financial institution anyway, there's a longer wait period, financial underwriting, all kinds of just stuff that just delays everything. So in a way, it's like it's better, quicker, cheaper. And maybe people only need to use it as a bridge. Maybe that they're waiting for the client to pay them. They go ahead and they float the money for 7 days. So there, it's extremely competitive. So if they continue to do bridge loans or if they have a revolving credit, it might be cheaper for them to do smaller cycles because they don't even charge you. They don't even charge you until after 7 days. So think about that. If you're qualifying for the program, most of the time you'll be able to do that in less than 7 days, right? For the most part.
Yeah. So XRP Alert for Life said basically keeps their software solution in line with the current FX market rates. They can't get them to buy it on XRP without more regulation. So I think they would want to go to a slightly lower rate starting out, but I don't know. So, but it's interesting. There were a couple awards that were also given, some CX Impact Awards. One of them went to Saudi Arabia. So it's the Saudi British Bank, Saab. and the other went to where was the second one? Second one is TP Bank.
Oh yeah,
And that TP
right.
Bank is in a major bank over in Vietnam. So I think it's interesting if you look at their target audience, the expansion, all the things that are going on. To me, it's a long-term strategy. It's a long-term play as they're developing this marketplace, waiting for some regulation to happen over here in the United States, waiting for some regulation over in Europe and elsewhere. But what do you think? Do you think that they're going to just keep plowing ahead? I know we've talked about this a lot, but now seeing some of their changes, do you think they can get above and beyond some of the regulation?
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling, I love to see what Europe's doing because Europe is doing this right. They're getting the regs in place. You have the UK getting their regulations in place. Japan's already passed them. So what's basically happened, Jeff, is the rest of the world is moving on, and they're like, we give zero Fs about the United States because we don't care about you, and nor should they, because they want to look after their own and they want to make sure that they're doing the right thing. So you know what, they can't be held hostage, but given what Brad Garlinghouse has said over the last, even today, talking about regulations in his introduction, I know you weren't allowed to release a lot, but Ripple did release the opening statement, Brad Garlinghouse, which was pre-taped. He talks about a lot about, what's happened, the fact that 4% of the of California burned basically in fires. He got into a little bit of that stuff, but one of the things he talked about is this uncertainty with regard to regulations. And it's hurting. Of course, Chris Larson said, hey, man, that's it. We're moving to Singapore or the UK. And then I started thinking maybe it's going to be London because he started talking a lot about London, about what they were going to do. But, Jeff, to answer your question, I definitely feel like regulations are in the air because all of a sudden we started seeing some stuff. Before we would see these bills come up, they never got out of committee. Now we're seeing stuff where they want to legitimize the smart contracts by amending and making it possible for that to be legal, where right now you can't, because it used to be digital signatures, which you call an e-sign or a docu-sign. That was not a legally binding document. Then they made it legally binding. So now by adding some of this other stuff, I think we're getting there gradually, and I think that all of a sudden bills started coming out of committee, which I got to be honest with you, I was a little bit shocked. And even though it's not the grand perfect plan, at least we start seeing stuff moving in one of the most volatile, craziest fighting, Congresses ever in the history of the country. Behind the scenes, they're like, we need to get this done, right? So, yeah, I don't know, Jeff. I think that the regulation stuff is going to happen in time, but I don't think it's going to happen anywhere in 2020. I think it's going to be 2021. We got to get past this election.
22. Yep.
No, I have a feeling
a lot of things will happen.
I'm calling it 2021. I actually think, depending on who wins, there's a possibility we may see it sooner. We may even see it before the end of 2021, but I think Q1, look, there's enough going on where the U.S. has to protect companies like Ripple. You're a $10 billion company, you're valued at $10 billion, and you're like starting to say, hey, we want out. We'd rather remove to someone. No, you can't let that. That's too much of that's already happened. Hey, check it out. Anna's here. Annalise Kryptonian.
Especially in the payment space. You're not going to let a company that's as important in this payment space right now, leave. Especially as you start seeing Swift is a little bit on the ropes. You can't allow that to happen. Especially when you start seeing development in the blockchain space. And now there's a lot of articles that are coming out talking about central bank digital currencies, that they're not crypto, they're not digital assets, they're it's something else. So there's a lot of mainstream focus and attention going on what's going on over in China, and really, they're kind of, it's a different direction, but I think it's interesting because here, we're waiting for the regulation, we're waiting for its impact on the market. But Ripple, on the other hand, what are they doing during this period of time? They're looking for ways to build the ecosystem. And I think this is what's most important to focus in on. If you look at other companies within the space, how many of them are having a direct impact, on the development, on the growth of an ecosystem? So here you have, Ripple X, formerly Spring. and they're investing back into, developing more companies that are going to focus in on building the ecosystem. Now, even if there was regulation tomorrow, and even if you could start moving money between banks, that's still not enough, right? You have to have a full
No.
ecosystem. You have to have the financial institutions. You have to have, the local banks also working with the corporations, and you have to have like a seamless acceptance of process and softwares. And, there's so much more to it, but it's the ecosystem that gets me the most, because again, if all it was just focusing on Swift, it's good, but it's not amazing.
Yeah.
And now I think that ecosystem, what they can do on the XRP ledger, what they can do with XRP in general, that's the emphasis.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I wanted to welcome a couple people in here. It's so great because, I see Connie in here, I see Annalise, and, we always look at our stats, and it always says zero ladies, zero women are in our, girls are in our chat. It's always 100% men, and that's not true. And I'm like, that is so wrong, YouTube. You got that wrong every single time. Because, they act as maybe they're rounding up, but still, I mean, give us 1%, 2%, give us something. I mean, we would like to see something in that arena. The other thing too is it looks like from the screenshot I have from XRP Deutschland, Deutschland, yeah, sprechen Sie Deutsch. So look at this. Check this out. Let's look. Whatever. Let me share my screen here, Jeff. Let me share it. Here it is, right here. So let's put this up on screen. Hang on. Oops, hang on. There we go. So yeah, let's solo this puppy right there. So there you go. So
cool. Wow.
It is, yeah. So this is what they say is the revised model. So from the sender side, which they use the U.S. obviously, and on the receiver side over here. So
Mexico.
if you're Mexico. So if you're, it's just, using Brad Garlinghouse's logic, we just walking across the border, take a plane there. It's just faster, right, Jeff?
Yeah. I like it.
So from here, I'm going to make my mouse a little bit bigger there. So if you wiggle it on the Mac, it gets really large, so in case you lose it. But so you have the Fund the Center XRP wallet right there. You got the Zelle Ripple as an intermediary. Then you got the XRP right here, settled across the XRP ledger and going into the exchange, right? So I guess Ripple's like the middleware right there, the software part that's powering that. Then it goes into the Mexican peso over here, and then boom to the receiver, and then it goes out to the beneficiaries. So that's,
I like it.
The only thing I see a little bit different here, it looks a little bit the same fund, the XRP. This one looks a little different. It looks like you went directly from there to the exchange, and it looks like now you've got the sender's XRP wallet. That might be new. I'm trying to remember from memory.
I think that's new. Yeah, I don't think the sender had an XRP wallet before. So I think that's, is that what that says?
Yeah, that's what it says. It says fund the Center XRP wallet. I think what it used to do is go right directly to an exchange. It used to go through the ledger to the exchange. So maybe that makes
sense. And that's what I was talking about before. The idea that banks can now start custodying crypto, and that banks can also be they're the reserve for the stable coins. But I firmly believe that at some point banks are going to hold the digital asset. Even though we have the dollar somewhere in the middle, but I still think there's a functionality in there someplace. It only makes sense to me.
But think about that though. I mean, I think the short-term bridge loans will solve some of that issue, because so you had the Nostra Vostra, right? Nobody wants to do it. I can't remember the name of the country. It was an Eastern Bloc country where they said we're no longer funding these. We don't want any more of our
just
fiat.
Happened. That was like Macedonia or something.
Macedonia, something like that. But they said well, I think it's going to be more people down the road, because listen, first of all, you're tying up money for nothing. You don't get interest on it. It's just complete. You might as well flush it down the toilet, out of sight, out of mind. And they don't want any more fiat going out. So they're like, hey, we're not doing this anymore. Well, that's the first country to say it. But I think you're right, Jeff. If you think about it, if you're a bank, you custody this, right? Because banks can custody crypto. Now they can actually custody it for themselves. And I like your theory here, because now, if they have this big pool, and if they're buying over the counter, they may be able to buy at a discount, right? If they're buying an exorbitant amount, because they're no longer funding these accounts. I don't have to worry about the ones. I forget which ones are Nostra Vostra. It's we and them, whatever.
Yep.
Whatever that is, they don't have to fund that anymore. So to me, it makes a lot of sense, because why wouldn't you want to hold that? Because that way, if you go back to this illustration here, let me throw this back up on the screen. If you go back up here, then you already have your wallet, right? So you basically use your wallet, send it through an exchange. You can move it very quickly, and even if you needed some, what I like about the line of credit could potentially change all that as well. So it's a very
big, yeah.
It's big. I mean, obviously, I think if you're moving stuff short term, like if you're waiting for initiation of some sort of a payment. Now in Europe, they have instant payments. They have instant payments a lot of places. Some in a lot of ways, for advanced as U.S. is, they couldn't be any further behind. But that's because we got a lot of knuckleheads that run our government and in Congress. You know, they can't get their stuff together. They're fighting about silly stuff, and meanwhile, the rest of the world's passing us by.
Yeah.
Like, look what happened to China. Like, look what happened to China. So I was watching Twitter today, and I was on the Twitters, and I saw somewhere in China where a guy was showing the demo. He was saying, look at how easy, obviously speaking Chinese, but I'm guessing he was saying, look at Jeff, look at how easy this is. This is this. And he goes up to the guy and the merchant, and he shows the thing, and then and you hear, and then he's like, huh? And I was like, well, that's great. That's great, but wait till you step out of bounds. Wait till you do something wrong. Just wait, mister, because I don't wait, what happened to my money? Oh, I'm sorry. But it was supposed to be decentralized. It's a digital asset. Not in China, pal.
Not anywhere. Any of the central bank digital currencies, you get a digital dollar. That's it. They shut it down. Yep. So, all right, what else is going on here?
I like this comment right here from Legendary. Congress is like adult daycare. It really is. It really is. And I think you might be giving them a little bit too much credit there. It's really like adult daycare.
Yeah. Yeah. So, man,
whose birthday is it today? Lady E, birthday boy.
Birthday. Happy birthday.
James, it's your birthday? Whose birthday is it? Don't all chime in at once, people.
Yeah.
Don't all chime in at once. China is so advanced. Yeah, in some respects they are, but in a lot of respects you're living in the kingdom in the fiefdom where the king has it great and the people who work for the king have it great, but everyone else are peasants. And you're lucky if 80% of the country lives in poverty. So yeah, there's some issues. I don't know if they're advanced. I'll tell you what's advanced. Japan is advanced. That's advanced.
Definitely advanced.
Yep. Japan's got it down. They have the thinking down, and I'm happy to see what Japan's doing in this space. It's great to see what SBI is doing. I mean, it's phenomenal. What else do we have up, Jeff, where we can share some of the things that happened?
There's all these little statements that are popping up on Twitter. Here's another one that came from Oli. Says directors from the Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank confirm at Ripple Swell conference that they will use existing technologies from the private sector for their CBDC in order to be efficient. And here he says it's great news for XRP and QNT, and then a bunch of other little things. But I think it's interesting. As you see this conversation, I think we've talked about this so many times before that even when you get to the CBDC level, are they able to really roll out a proper digital currency? Are they going to fall back on IBM? Are they going to fall back on another, maybe Oracle or someone that can build a platform for them? Or are they going to go and tap into Stellar? Are they going to tap into, we saw a country that tapped into Stellar for their CBDC, or are they going to tap into XRP or one of the other platforms? But I think that's another reason why Ripple developing the ecosystem is also critical, because as it stands right now, if you want to make it easy or build an infrastructure, let's say for the US digital dollar, maybe it's going to be done on the XRP ledger. Maybe that makes sense. It's still a centralized digital currency, but yet it's built on the ledger.
Yeah, I like where you're going with it, but I don't see that happening because of the control. I mean, the whole idea of a central bank, everything built into it is control. The whole idea of a digital asset is to kind of get it off of that control, to have it, permissionless, have it decentralized. And when you start moving into a decentralized scenario, utilizing some kind of a blockchain, you're really kind of like, that's what anybody had said, well, it's going to be great because it's going to get everybody hooked on it. No, it's not going to get people hooked on it when they realize that their central bank digital currency, the digital dollar or the digital peso, whatever it might be, whatever they want, a cute name they come up for it, you're still dealing with the problem of centralization. You don't get around centralization. You just don't get around it. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. You can't get around it. Centralization comes to you. So I'm scrolling through, looking for some interesting comments and feedback. And then I come down to, not to rehash anything or bring it up, but there's always seems to be a little bit of, yo, what is up, James Rule? Appreciate
James
that. Thank you
Rule,
very
happy
much.
birthday, man. Are we going to sing happy birthday to him? Happy birthday to you, James Rule XRP. Happy birthday to you, James Rule XRP. All right, that's it. That's what you're gonna. That's all you're gonna get, man. I was doing the flashing thing because that
Nice.
looks kind of cool. It's like, yay, it's
That
flashing.
flashing thing is cool. And then he started singing.
Well, that's because I was doing a manual. I can't do two things at once, Jeff. I want to thank you, James. Really appreciate that, man. We should be buying you a drink, which we will do, man. I'm gonna have to fly over to Texas and get that handled,
do
man.
that. Go do
Get
that.
that handled. He's a good man. He's a good man. He always,
Hey,
James always
he beat
sends me
you to
good
it.
stuff, dude. He always sends me some. What happened? Get the guitar.
If I super chat, will Chip
Whoa.
stop singing?
Who said that? Who said that?
XRP holler for life. That's
That's
great.
it, man.
That's perfect.
That's it. I'll send you a link. You can come on here and say it to my face. All right, pal?
Yeah, so I was gonna say, so with all the things, here we are at Swell. I can't believe it was a year ago at Swell, and all those little controversies kind of popped up within the community. And I think it's about time that the community kind of settle down
Yeah.
and not get so emotional with things that are going on in or out of the community, and you focus on what you want to focus in on. We like to focus on informative, try to get into the facts, try to analyze it from that perspective and not try to get too hopium. But that's each their own. But I see a little bit of that stuff going on again. Maybe it's rehashing Swell 19. Maybe it's going to be a thing. What do you think is going to happen? Swell 21. It's going to be another rehash.
2020.
2021.
It could potentially
Swell
be something like that.
2021. That'll be the big reveal. Swell 2021.
Well, you know what happens, Jeff? It's like, you ever notice, like, in a company where the company's crushing it, everyone's super happy, everyone's so busy, they know what to do, and then when things start going downhill, and a lot of this revolves around price, right? Because everyone's like, look, man, I already have my Lambo picked out. What's going on? So a lot of it, so when it starts going the other way, or bad things start happening, and just like you start that avalanche of bad, you got to kind of try to turn it around. It's real hard at that point. But when you only focus on price, I think that's a very big mistake. And you say, look, if you're in it for the long haul, look, if you were in this to do trading and you came in for 3 months or a year, okay, fair enough. But that's not what this is. And you go invest in like DeFi, where you could either do extremely well and be a hero, or you could end up with the zero holding the bag, right? And there's a lot of other projects that have pumped and dumped. So that's what you want to get into. But if you're going with something, a project's been around since 2012, we're going into basically 8.5 years now that are laying the groundwork and the foundational stuff, and keep getting tripped up by their home country, the US, by not having some regulations. I have a feeling that when we get regulations, you're going to start seeing something move. And I think we're going to blow past. I'm not one of these guys that says like, oh, it's going to go to the moon. I mean, we all want moon. But I do think there's a really good chance for us to go past the last high, because even when David Schwartz said, do you think it'll go up slow or fast? He thinks it'll move quickly. And the reason he thinks it'll move quickly is because when people start seeing the price move, people will start jumping on. And one thing we know about, even when it goes up and it starts coming back down and adjust, you said this the other day, Jeff, one of the cool things about XRP is it's mostly been pretty stable. We didn't see the kind of fluctuations. Yeah, it goes up, it's gone up, and it's kind of come back down. But you don't see the flash crashes you saw with other sort of... Hey, Alex D is in here. Check it out. Alex D, what's going on? Thank you, my man. Pump tonight, XRP.
Alex
Let's go.
D, what's up? Oh, wait, I saw Yeet walk in here.
Yeet's in here. By the way...
Bones is in here.
Bones is in here. Nice. Hey,
XRP Bags just came in here. Nice.
Bags is in here too. Listen, hey, did Yeet, are you the one that said, did you get banned off of, who did I see? Somebody got banned off of Twitter. Was that you? because that's insane if that happened. We had Alex D on a couple shows ago. Man, we had a good time with him, and not only that, but I wish I could just shout what he says at the end of his videos because it really is the most fun. I need that on a loop, Alex. Can you just send me that bit? Just want to play that every once in a while. I don't. I'm not gonna go there, but man. But if you guys don't know Alex D, go check him out, man. He's fun. He's upbeat. Talks about some stuff. Knows his stuff, and you know, he always is sitting in his car, at least most of the time. But anyway, go check him out. He's a good dude.
Good place to be.
If you don't know XRP Bags, The Extraordinary and Lady E, they've done some collaboration. If you haven't checked out their new album is phenomenal. That's a hard word to say sometimes, Jeff, but check them out. I love the community. I love the people, you know, they're showing up.
Yeah.
Bags has
today
been doing
14th.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
First day of Swell, dude.
Yeah.
It's the first day I wasn't at Swell. You either. The first day none of us were at Swell.
Oh, I knew it. That's right. I know I missed something today.
But you know what's weird though? Look, I get you're not going to get a ticket to go to Singapore. You're not going to get it. It was supposed to be in, I think, London this year was where it was supposed to be. Yeah, okay, fair enough. You know, not everyone's going to get a chance to go. But what's the big deal with not streaming it to everybody? Or at least giving people in the community an option to stream it? That's the part that I'm kind of, I don't quite understand because it, you know, or at least make it available. I mean, it didn't seem like there was any sensitive stuff that wouldn't come out in the media anyway.
Yeah.
So why not?
Hey, have you ever heard of Cambridge Global Payments?
I don't think so. I've heard of a lot of different Cambridge companies.
So Cambridge Global Payments is it's 647 area code, but they were just announced today that they had their the Cambridge Global Payments and Ripple partnership went live today. And it says Cambridge now using RippleNet to speed cross-border payments. But I thought it was interesting, just their statement here. It said, we entered into the relationship with Ripple because it presented Cambridge a great opportunity to use distributed ledger technology to reduce the amount of time it takes for customers to pay their overseas vendors.
Well, there you go.
Yep. So this whole thing, a recent study from Juniper Research indicated the total value of B2B cross-border payments will jump to $35 trillion in 2022 from a COVID-related low of 27 trillion in 2020.
Now, where does that cover the U.S. or is that a global
This
thing?
is global. No, it's,
Okay,
I think this is global. Yep.
That's a couple,
Cross-border.
Jack.
That's all just cross-border payments. So B2B cross-border payments. Yep.
Well, if you look at that, I mean, so, and I think the bigger picture here we're really gearing up for is if you take that and you just look down the road and you say, wait a minute, so all these CBDCs, they have to be interoperable some way. How are they going to be interoperable? How are they going to go that next distance? The only way they can do it is they need that bridge currency. They need something like, you know, and actually XLM, you know, Stellar, Lumens could fill that bill. They could easily fill that, you know, but that really wasn't their main focus. They kind of shifted focus a little bit as of late. If you remember Jed McCullough, Jed, the original founder who left and started the Stellar Foundation, XLM, you know, one of the things that he left was he was more consumer side. And if you look at it, so it's a little bit of both, but essentially they can do the same thing. They can still do the 3 to 4 seconds. Now, the main difference that I see is that with the Stellar Foundation, there's nobody really running it like a company, right? There's a lot of like volunteers and people like working with it. So you don't necessarily have that support system where when you have Ripple is actually making the software that makes it work. So the last Swell, now think about it, guys. We're like, where's the price? And you got to remember, it was only 2019 Swell that they introduced on-demand liquidity. We act like it's been around for 3 years. It's basically just been 1 year. And if you look at some of the other things that have been introduced, I mean, we're so on top of it because we're in the community, and then we hear, you know, talk about it or chatter about this partner or that partner. But the truth of it is this stuff is very, very new.
Yeah. Yep. So, and that to this point, this is even more interesting. So, there's a little bit of a conversation here that was going on between Stewart XRP and Bank XRP and XRP Darren. But it was interesting because Bank XRP is dropping all these things. And this is the idea between Cambridge Global using RippleNet came from Siam Commercial Bank that saw a 99% reduction in the time to pay out with RippleNet. But what Stewart XRP or XRP underscore Stewart said, and this is interesting, that Ripple actually announced March 1st of 2018 that Cambridge was doing a pilot with Ripple using XRP. So that was 2 years ago. And then 2 years later, they go live with RippleNet.
Yeah, so there's a huge delay.
2-year pilot. That's a big delay. So now think about the possibilities. You know, what does that actually mean for these other institutions? One thing that we say all the time that I think people keep missing the boat on when they're like, when is it going to happen? It's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to happen tomorrow. Well, 2 years. 2 years for that institution to get on board. Banks don't move that quick. Banks move. Think about a cruise ship versus a speedboat, right? The banks and the economy are like a cruise ship. And I think, you look at some of these bigger financial institutions, and they're like those big tankers. You try to swivel a tanker, a cruise ship probably moves faster than a tanker, but you think about what it takes to move that cruise ship, and a speedboat just going to zip over there. But imagine if your economic decisions were like a speedboat, right? And you're just like, boom, boom, boom. You're jumping all over the place, right? That's the, that's a strategy for disaster. But these banks and the government just move, they make their decision. They slowly move their way into it. And that's like this, 2 years they tried it out. Or 2 years ago. I don't know if they kept going for 2 years, but
But that's also the benefit of having somebody around, a community member who remembers this kind of stuff. Like I remembered, I sometimes go back and go, wait a minute, like the whole line of credit thing was floated really earlier this year. They probably meant to introduce it sooner. I went back and found an article, I think it was April or May. So it looked like with this pandemic thing hit, and all of a sudden, hey, I want to say a big shout out to Todd Kendall. What's up? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Thank you. I really appreciate your support. James Rule XRP. It's his birthday, guys. Say a big. We did a little happy birthday tribute to him earlier, and I want to say hi to William Edwards, who's also a big supporter of the channel. And Elise is in here, and Rain here,
and Shabo Mofo.
The Mofo party plan. A great, by the way,
Willits.
Steve Willits is here. Yeah, it's all really good, man. Silhouette Park. What's up, man? So we have some Aussies in here. Good day, mate. Good day. It's really good to see that. Some Aussies. Yeah. What time is it? It must be, 13, 14 hours ahead of time over there? It's morning time.
It's morning. They just got up. Well,
Angie's here.
Farm, so I'm sure he's got up already like hours ago.
Lady E is here. No, but I think a lot of times, when you follow this every moment of every day, and you flip out and you look at your Twitter, and then you hear something, and there's some news, and then all of a sudden, a week just seems like forever. So we got to remember, look, these are early days. If you're liking it to, Apple stock back in 1995 was right around where Ripple price is, oscillating between 25 and 35 cents. It was in the tank, and now it's split so many times before that, and back then, if you look in the 90s, they didn't even know if Apple would continue to be a company, but they had a vision. They were executing on a vision. They had a visionary at the helm. They were doing something different. They were trying to reinvent the world, and they were a computer company who ended up redefining the space with smartphones, with tablets, with the whole idea of going with that next piece of technology, then the home stuff, and they became one of the most valuable companies. You look at a company like Ripple now; they're valued at $10 billion. You say like, $10 billion, but for a San Francisco startup to be valued at $10 billion, the reason we know that is because our last funding round, we know what they always announce what the valuation of the company is. So who knows? The next time they go and get some funding or money, that's whatever the funding round is, by the amount the company's worth. That's how you know what percentage of stock, and you don't know if it's what kind of stock it is. You don't know if it's preferred stock. You don't know really necessarily what the details of it are. But I'm sure they're not going to want something that's going to be watered down, or something that's going to be devalued over time. So you think that when you see companies like this, like a Ripple, look, man, they're in it for the long haul. Brad originally said this is a 3 to 5 year deal. Now, I'm not going to get into the fact that he said that 5 years ago, but listen, that's not what it's about. It's about building for long term. And look, the rails are taking time, but you see, what's up, XRP Hollywood? You see that they're starting to put more rails. They're connecting more things. I did that. That company that's in South Korea, one of their biggest pay companies now, with one of the Ripple partners, was it Neum, that is now offering fast payments into Europe and the U.S. So you see things that are going out there, and we're like, yeah, but that's not Moon. But then somebody brought this up a little bit earlier. I think it was XRP Hodler. He was talking about his. Let me see if I can find his. When we do, let me see it here. Here it is, right here. Look, one of the things he said is XLM doesn't have the partnerships. They're not getting the seats at the table with the major players. Good tech, little relationships. Relationships is how business gets done. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I'll put a little an add-on to that, which is not only is that how business gets done, but that's the difference between something that's like decentralized and hands-off versus a company that's taken the reins and has a real leadership. And if something's not working, they know enough to say, hey, this isn't working, we got to make a change. Now, you saw some turnover in personnel recently. And I think that a lot of that had to do with, look, for whatever reason, it wasn't working, right? Miguel Valles. So he went off and he would start doing his own thing. You know, talented people, but sometimes if your company shifts a little bit, sometimes there's not necessarily that same sort of a place, that seat at the table, so to speak. But Ripple, one of the things that I like about the company that I've liked all along is they continue to lead. They fail fast. If something's not working, they make pivots and adjustment, but they never get off their main mission. And look, cross-border payments, Brad Garlinghouse has said it time and time again, that's just one thing, Jeff. It's not everything.
That's it. You know, and I'm looking through here. It's interesting because I'm starting to see some other tweets here, you know, talking about Bank of America, you know, that Ripple Swell, big announcements that they're showing some slides from Bank of America using RippleNet. But then it's interesting because in April of this year, that's where Bank of America, it says here, Bank of America's head of global banking has heaped praise on cryptocurrency project Ripple and its ability to integrate with traditional banking services. And so this is the big article that was on Yahoo Finance, was all about, you know, Bank of America lifts lid on their partnership with Ripple, that they like what's going on. They like to work with it. And I thought it was interesting because here's an article that's on Yahoo Finance. And I like seeing all the connection back to the space, you know, so I get it. You know, Yahoo Finance is quoting stuff from Cointelegraph and some of the others. But here I'm looking through it and they pick up on these different tweets and then they highlight these tweets. So one of the tweets that was in this article that I just pulled back up from April is of Status. So his at Status, which is XRP Crow, which is the one who does all the different images and all of that. And so he threw one up here. You know, so this is back in April. And I just think it's interesting, you know, to see these conversations, you know, they keep going and they keep talking. I'm going to see if I can find it here. Look, here we go. Not sure. Oh, you can't. Can you still see this? Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yep, I see it.
I don't know. You see the big slide? Oh, it shrunk down. I don't know. So anyhow,
click on the slide; it'll get bigger. The slide
there it
itself.
is. Can you see it?
No, click on it. Click on
you
the
know what?
graphic.
It's only no, I'm on the graphic. It's only the tab. I had opened it up here somewhere. I don't know what happened. Oh well. So, there it is. Let me see if I can share that one. Here we go. I like this graphic. Pro.
Put it out there, Jeff. Let's look at it.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
I had to find the tab. But it's about you as a client and the infrastructure you have and the ability for us to integrate, whether that's with platforms and capabilities that we built or partnerships that we have with the likes of Ripple or Swift. These are fintechs that we're partnering with. I don't know how they get Swift into fintech, but anyhow, Ripple, Bank of America, this is his graphic. But hey, you know what? This goes into the conversation, you know, when, you know, at, you know, what point, how soon, you know, what's the process? We don't need to push it and try to speculate and guess. When it happens, it's going to happen. You know, the great thing is that, you know, we're figuring, you know, you're kind of figuring this out there's a lot of people in the space, in the digital asset space in general. You know, what was it? I was reading an article today about Bitcoin, and they're still forecasting, you know, this 5-year plan.
Yeah.
But they're talking about how many billions of dollars are going to start coming into Bitcoin as big corporations buy in. I was talking about this the other day, that you have MicroStrategy and Square just put in big buys, 50 million for Square, 400 million dollars worth of Bitcoin for MicroStrategy. Those are two. There was a list I pulled up. There's probably like 5 or 6 corporations. Some of them are not so known that are buying into Bitcoin. But the trend, to me, they're trend setters, right? They're not like outliers at this point. Other corporations are going to be like, wow, they're infusing their bottom line with some stability. It's like buying gold reserves, you know? And so could you imagine a company saying, hey, I'm going to buy $400 million worth of gold, and we're going to keep it in a safe in our basement? You know, with that company, I mean, that's solid value that company just bought, especially as the price goes up. Now, if it depreciates, the guys are the worst, you know, but
Well, that's the case, but hey, but on that line, on that logic line that you're on right now, let's look at this. So this was, I saw Barry Silbert originally put this out, but I was just looking at it real fast. It was on Barry Silbert's, let's see, hang on a second. Did he tweet this out? What the heck here? Hang on a second. Hang on, people. Oh, for Christmas. What is this thing? Let me see. Here we go. Well, I can't find the one, but Barry Silbert, he runs the parent company that runs Grayscale. And it was funny because one of the things he said was, look at this. So just piggybacking off of what you were talking about, check this out. So check this graphic out right here. So Barry Silbert goes, hey, Grayscale is the sun, 449,000, right? So these are number almost 500,000 Bitcoin published. There's Square that you were talking about, Jeff, 4,700. You've got Hut 8. Look at all these companies. Cypherpunk, Argo, CoinShares, Galaxy. But just look at the amount of smart money that's coming in there. And look who the sun is. It's like the cryptoverse of BTC. But one of the things that, you know, Fidelity put a report out yesterday, and Fidelity was basically saying that they're suggesting at least 5% of your portfolio should be diversified in cryptocurrencies. They're saying BTC. They were just making a recommendation, but there are other now Grayscale also runs the XRP fund, and I think the price is now up to $24, something like that, and that's in that fund, which is pretty cool. But just look at this. This was just updated October 13th, and you know that Square was one of the recent ones. Was it MicroStrategy, Jeff, in the last 2 weeks?
MicroStrategy, oh yeah, they did that. They started like a month ago. They did the first buy-in for 250, then they came back with another 2. And those are huge numbers. I mean, I would love to say, hey, I'm going to put $1 million into Bitcoin right now. How about 100,000?
Yeah, and if you look at the dates, this is all 2020. Look at Cypherpunk Holdings. You have Hut 8, which came in Q2. You had BTC. I don't know what that is. That's like a BTC organization or not, whatever. Galaxy. Yep. So it's pretty big stuff, man. If you look at this thing, it's pretty solid. And
now imagine if you could put your 401k into Bitcoin and digital asset. One of the trends they're talking about is that right now Bitcoin, that's what people are investing in. But at some point, more companies are going to come in and they say, hey, just like individuals, they're looking at the market. They look at the top 5, top 10. They start diversifying. Like you said, if you're putting 5%, little Bitcoin, little Ethereum, little XRP, little of this, little of that, now you have a nice base.
Yeah, so here you go. Here's the Grayscale XRP Trust. This is the first securities solely invested in and deriving value from the price of XRP. Passively invested in XRP, enabling investors to gain exposure to XRP in the form of a security while avoiding the challenges of buying, storing, and safekeeping XRP. So they don't have any of the worries that go along with it. And right now, let's see what the performance is. So it was a 24 yesterday, so it's sitting right at 23.69. It was up 1.5%. It's down almost 1.5%, but it kind of moves and goes. Now, what's nice about these, you know, some of these trusts that they're running is that what we're seeing is that there's a big push. I mean, the fact that they're even running a trust on this whole thing, an XRP trust. Now they have other ones as too, but I got to tell you, Barry Silbert's probably one of the smartest humans, next to like an Alex Mashinsky, because he owns pretty much everything. He was one of the early adopters, started getting in, started doing early investments. If you ever look at the, one day we'll have to pull this up, where you look at all of the companies that Grayscale is, and you know every one of them, they're all household names. And that's just spectacular when you think about that. Thank you, Connie, for always reminding people to hit that the thumbs up and that bell and that subscription and all that. I appreciate that.
Plus, Chip, I'm seeing a lot of new commenters in here as well. I don't know if they're already subscribers, but if they're brand new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. For those that are in here, I'm not looking at YouTube. I'm looking at our platform. I don't, give some thumbs up if you can. It just helps keep it motivated. And then also throw some comments below, not just in the chat. We can keep this conversation going offline. And we can even bounce over if you guys check out our Telegram channel, which you can find in the description. And we can work on keeping a conversation going there as well. So
yeah, Billy's here. Billy is here. Billy Gould. Billy. Nice. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the things. So I mean, look, I think day one, I don't know what people were expecting, but I think, look, they gave out some awards. They did an actual ODL demonstration. So some good things happened today. But if you're expecting like, well, we just opened our last corridor. But one of the things, here's another one I wanted to show here real quick. Oh my gosh, I just had it up here. Oh. You hate when you had it up. There it is right here. Did I get to this one? I don't know if I did. Hang on a second. Did I get to this?
There we go. Oh, I like that one.
So it's Swell. This is the Wrath of Conman. It's Swell. Ripple updated their map to show the presence in 55 countries. This is up 10 from August. We're talking about 5 weeks ago was August. So you can see that they've expanded it. What you see in the blue right there is the Ripple net that's available, and then the green right there is the on-demand liquidity available. So look at our Aussie friends right there. Bam.
And Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico as well. So boom, it's pretty cool. But look at Africa's lighting up a little bit. You got almost all of South America except for two little areas right there, which we know why that's not lit up. But anyway, you look at Asia. I mean, look what's going on. Look at Europe, the UK. I mean, look at Russia.
Oh, no Russia.
Russia's
no China.
No China.
Japan. India. Look at India. India is amazing to me.
It is amazing, right?
Yeah.
Bam. So, I mean, just look at what's happening. I mean, look, you're like, well, nothing's happening. Well, there's 10 new countries that were added in the last 5 weeks. And I think a lot of this stuff comes from our instant gratification. We expect everything instantly. Everything comes instant. I can get food delivered. I can call I can do an Uber Lyft, and everything's now. But you know what? It's not. And if you're building, when you're changing the future, when you have a brand new asset class, first one since what, the 1600s, since bonds. I mean, when you're doing something brand new, look, you don't build it overnight. And guess what? The good thing about that, keep this in mind, is that there will always be competitors. There will always be some new person that comes on the scene and everyone's like shrieking like, oh no, Jeff, what do we do? Be like, oh, never mind. Are they going to build out the rails? Are they going to be able to put the partnerships in place? And I've been mostly impressed with Ripple's done with being in this whole shutdown, because everybody's been working remote, from the company itself. It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Look at this comment right here. Hodler for life. You're impatient now waiting for XRP to moon. That will only be amplified when you are more well off later. That's true. Can you imagine a day when we look back at this? You know what you remember? None of it. You'll be like, I bought XRP. I'm smart. That's all you'll remember. You won't remember. I always say, like, my friends of mine, remember that rough patch about 10 years ago? They go, no. I go, yeah, that's the whole point. You don't remember it. You remember the good times. The bad times, they just kind of like fade away, and who cares, right?
I remember this is like the exciting point, as you move in, and you kind of remember sometimes all of this. It's gonna be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting as we build and develop and grow.
Jeff, have you checked the?
Oh yeah. Yep.
I was just saying.
Yeah.
So I'm always gonna be the bad guy.
Looking at our little red timer right here.
Hey, by the way, before guys,
9:36.
Yeah, before we get out of here, I just want to let you guys know that, and this is funny, and the reason we say this is because it comes up in our comments where somebody will discover our other channel, and they've been a subscriber over here for a long time, and they miss all of our uploaded videos. So make sure that you go down below and you subscribe to, we call it the standard channel. It doesn't have the live on the end. It's just on the chain, and this is on the chain live, because this is where all the live stuff. Jeff does his weekly live stream. I try to do my XRP, live stream. I started doing that Wednesday nights, but tonight we needed to get on here and start talking about Swell. Keeping everybody just, keep calm and hodl. That's all I got to say is keep calm. There's a lot of good things happening. Hodl on. You just got to remember that it's just in due time. Like there is stuff happening. You got to have your eyes open to it and look for it. Like I said, I show this map, and all of a sudden 10 new countries opened up, and everyone's like, I was expecting 30.
China was on that map. So by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They were on it, but I wouldn't say they were on it.
Someone brought that up, but my problem is I have a blinder right in that spot, so I don't see it.
Well, my camera's right there, so it's like a lot of times I can't see the stuff.
Yeah, I saw everything around it.
Thank you, Anna. It's really great to catch you in a live stream. I want to say thank you to Kelly Slade for jumping in here, Bill Edwards, Connie. Thank you very much. Subscribes to all. Oh, Connie, of course. You might have been our third subscriber. You were always there from the beginning. Seriously, I think you were the very first one, and we always appreciate.
You missed Darcy.
Wait, where's Darcy?
Hey, you missed the comment. Yeah, here.
There it is.
When all this is done, I never want to talk about crypto again. That's the best. That's a great comment.
Yeah, you never know. Holler for life. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Thank you for your participation. Again, you guys make this worthwhile.
Yeah.
Here's Stephen Kurt says I have 7 to 8 cryptos. Keep cost averaging in. Patiently wait for the bull run to come. And I'm ready. So there you go. That's it. Everybody get ready. Look, support each other, and awesome. Look, the best thing we can do in the community. I love doing these live streams. The interaction with you guys makes this so much fun. Jeff and I have been looking forward to this today because when you guys come in here, get to talk, hang out, chat a little bit.
Yeah.
And the next live stream we're doing is going to be Saturday. Jeff will be doing it solo. We'll be doing the HODL review. It happens at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. And we'll be doing the round table. We've got a good guest coming up. I want to double confirm, make sure he's still on. But and then we've got next week. This is the first time we've been booked. Like we've been booked 3 weeks out, which is kind of good. Because usually it starts with a text to Jeff on Friday and said like, oh yeah, the round table. He's like, oh yeah. Then Saturday we go, should we get someone? He's like, yeah. Then we go like, should we get someone today? We're like, yeah. So it's not that bad, but you get busy in life.
Back to back to back. It's awesome. So definitely tune in Saturday morning. Tune in Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we might even be back next Wednesday doing another live stream. If Chip doesn't get the XRP minute, we're going to have both of us here with you guys.
Yeah, man.
And it's fun. Wednesday. How great is that? Wednesday night, Saturday morning, Sunday night. And then you go
Sunday,
to the
Wednesday,
other channel.
Saturday.
It's great. I like it.
I popped a new video today, and then there'll probably be another one coming up the following day. I think we want to get through some of this swell because I was like, swell. My head's starting to swell. So
exactly. So what's interesting, Chip? Before we get out of here, we've heard from some of our subscribers on this channel. They didn't realize that we had another channel, even though we talk about it.
Right.
So I just want to bring it up again that we actually do have it. We are testing some things out the past couple weeks, trying to throw some shorts on this channel. Didn't really jive as well, so we're putting them back over there, kind of feeling the fluctuation of what people like. We're sticking it out here. Someone even brought up to premiere some of the, some of the longer videos, like we do a 30-minute video or a 25-minute video, to premiere it over here so people can hang out. You know what? I think it was Wen Mullet. Yeah, I think he kind of sidetracked into that, but, we're going to try to do that as well. So a lot of cool things. That's all I got.
That's all I got too. And thank you. By the way, Lady E dropped the channel in there in case you don't want to like venture down in the description. But yeah, but check out the other channel too. We like to drop the short form videos, and we'll be doing some other stuff. But Darcy, thanks. I know it's super late over there, so thank you for joining us. We always appreciate everyone's support. William Edwards,
Darcy, when all this is over, I'm gonna. We have our plans to get back over to Ireland. So
yeah, we're going back to Ireland. We're drinking lots of Guinness and lots of Irish whiskey. That is for sure. And lots of green. I love how green everything is over there.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna go up to Northern Ireland and cause some trouble.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Good place to start it.
I don't see why not. All right, that's it. We're out of here. We appreciate your time, guys. Have a good one. Out.
Out.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.